Hello Pisces, and welcome to your February 2026 mid-month check-in. We'll be doing a March one in a few weeks here, but first and foremost, let's check in on what's going on this month. Before we get started, let's give Apollo a pat on the head. Hey buddy, who's a good boy? Yeah, it's good to see you. All right. Everything's better after a quick hello there. So if it's your first time checking out one of my videos, this is going to take you through, again, the rest of this month. We'll be looking at sun, rising, and moon sign energy, and you can really use it for any aspect of your chart, but I specifically created for that. And now let's get into channeled messages. As I was meditating on your sign, what I saw was kind of like a cross-section of a tree or a limb, and I was looking at all of the rings and really the representation of time. And anything worth doing takes time, and you often don't realize the strength, the reach, and the potential of what's going on until time has passed. And if you ever look at one of those cuttings, you'll notice that there are some rings that are a little bit bigger when there's a lot of water. There are some rings that are a little smaller when there are fewer resources. And it feels like we're in one of those moments where you're coming out of that thinner sort of period. So there can be this feeling of almost like fear, will there be enough? And that's really what I want to help us get past, is that minimalist or sort of scarcity mentality. Because what I'm seeing is growth and the ability to push through the surface. Also, I paid attention to the energy of stability, and I did feel like there was a lot going on beneath the surface. So I feel like it's time. It's time, Pisces, for you to be able to reap some of the rewards. And we'll look out and see when and where some of those opportunities for like breakthroughs exist, if there's any blocks, and if there's any way that we can bring in more energy in the form of resources or support in particular. Okay, with that being said, let's give the cards a shuffle. All right, let's take a moment here to tune in. If any thoughts were present in your mind, imagine you are like a tree and you could send those into the planet, grounding them, clearing your head, and clearing the energy around you. And then let's imagine also that there is a beautiful ray of sunshine above you, creating a circle of light, connecting you to source. In this circle of light, know that you are protected and connected, and let's invite in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right, let's get started with your Catalyst card. In the Catalyst position, we have Touch the Sky coming through. And as this said, it's basically a way for you to spark necessary change. So I would even rephrase this as reach for the stars or reach for the sky. If there's been anyone in your life that has been doubtful or places unnecessary sort of fear or limits on you, this card comes through as a reminder to break through that. You have the capacity to go as far as you want, but if you automatically limit something and think, I'm not ready, or I'm not good enough, or this isn't going to happen, you've shut a door before it's had a chance to open. So reach for the sky and give yourself time also to get that bird's eye perspective. That is also going to help you see patterns and to know when and where to shift the energy. All right, let's take a look at the center of the spread. We have the Two of Pentacles coming through. This, of course, represents a need to create some balance in your life. I've seen this come through for a couple of signs in a similar position. And I like that we actually see the thread piece on this Two of Pentacles. So imagine, if you will, that the two coins are tied together by like a rubber band. There comes a point where that band is going to break. And so the important thing here is don't stretch yourself too thin. You can't make everyone happy. You can't be everywhere at once. Choices are necessary. Discernment is basically one of the key energies of the Two of Pentacles. So you may find yourself with the next 3 or 4 weeks having to make some difficult decisions, but this is when you lean on your intuition and trust. Trust that what feels right, what you know to be right, is going to be good enough, because sometimes you have to make a decision just like that. We can also see a sort of pagan symbol here, the Maiden Mother Crone, the 3 different phases of our lives represented. This can also help you make a decision, because in each phase of your life, certain things may be weighted a little bit more than others. So if you have a lot of time, there are more risks that you can take. There's more time and energy that you can put into something. But if you're in a different phase of life, or if people are depending on you, the choices, the string that's sort of tying you to what you need to do could vary. So you're looking at it holistically, and again, making the best possible choice that you can in that moment. Crossing this card, by the way, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this, is a very interesting energy. So we have the Two of Wands. I just want to take the traditional Two of Wands card here for a second and show it. So in this one, we see someone looking at the world and then looking out at the distance at what they're trying to do. This could just be a moment to have a gut check and say, does this all balance out? Because that's the final message of the Two of Pentacles, is balance. Typically, we see someone kind of teetering, trying to achieve balance. So this is a great time to look at your bank account. Make sure that all of the bills and the expenditures balance out. This is a great time to audit relationships and decide, am I putting far more into this than I'm getting back? And it's also a great time to look at all of the extracurricular activities that you're involved in, or any sort of things that you're doing from a volunteer perspective, and just making sure that there's no energy leaks. So we can take it at face value, or the more symbolic message, which is you can't be everywhere at once. Crossing this, again, is the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands is a card that ignites your imagination. So I actually kind of like that we see the fiery energy here. Again, the more traditional illustration showing that you're dreaming and you're also kind of like getting practical and tactical. This is what I want, but how do I bring it into fruition? Make time to plan. The way that you might have gotten into this situation, the Two of Pentacles, could have been through a lack of planning, and sometimes we just get busy, myself included. So make time to plan and make time to check in and allow yourself to dream and daydream, because the Two of Wands is also connected to those waking dreams and waking visions that we all get, thinking about what tomorrow might bring, what we wish we were doing. Connect with that, lean into that. There might be something really wonderful that comes through. But if you haven't made a moment to plan, now is the time. As we take a look at the deep past, the Moon card makes an appearance. And this month, one of the themes that's probably already playing out is around confidence, facing fears, and really allowing yourself to trust your instincts and your intuition. It's coming through in a really loud way, but sometimes internal doubt takes us off that path. So if there's any fears or uncertainties, now is the time to get the support that you need to face them. In the traditional version of the card, those fears are represented by the lobster. But if you look in front of the lobster, there is that same path that's traced out by the waters there. And the message is, sometimes you have to take the winding path, or the road less traveled. It's not always a straight line from A to B that's going to give you what you need. So if you're looking back retrospectively and thinking, I should have done this, I wish I would have known this, etc., the universe is coming through and saying, it could have been easier, but you wouldn't have gained the lessons that you now have. A couple things to avoid. So we see the wolf and the dog in the traditional illustration. They're howling at the moon. They're making some commotion. It can represent competition, distraction. It can also be chaotic. So we want to stay clear of people, environments, and energies that steal our attention away from the beautiful glittering moon in the background. Because now looking at this modern card, that's where the power is. Stay focused, release the fear, and don't pay too much mind to what everybody's thinking and saying. You can't make them all happy anyway. All right, let's take a look at what's coming through in the recent past here. We have the King of Swords. So the energy bringing you into the month is quite active, actually. There's a lot going on. People are going to be much more interested, maybe even more inquisitive in what you have to say. They're going to be paying attention to what you're doing, and your ability to communicate can basically make or break the month for you. So really pay attention to your communication, both verbal and nonverbal. Pay attention to like posture, eye contact, and also just, you know, what's going on in the face, because sometimes, if you've ever noticed, there are people that just can't tell a lie. Their face shows everything. So really pick up on the cues when you're communicating with other, but also make sure that you know what you're kind of giving out to the universe. If there's anything that you need to launch, because by the way, this card is connected to pregnancy, but also to birthing and creating things. So if there's something that you want to put into a written format, these two cards are fantastic. So whether it's a proposal, a deed, a legal contract, something creative like writing, curriculum, any and all of the above, this is a time to set that into motion. Okay, let's take a look at your crowning card. We have the Strength card. Fantastic. This is showing that you're a formidable force this month. If someone challenges you, if you need to stand up for yourself, if something needs to be set right, the Strength card is the one that you want on your side. One thing that I like with this particular illustration is we don't necessarily see her, usually it's a lion instead of a bear, but usually, you know, the woman has her hands in the mouth of the lion, and there's a little bit more like, it's almost like puppetry there, where you're trying to put words in someone else's mouth or vice versa. So I like that we're moving past this, because this card is basically saying use your own voice. That's where the power is. And if anyone tries to say something like this, it can be tricky. Isn't that right? Don't you agree? If you don't agree, and if it isn't right, say, actually, no, I have some thoughts on that. Do you want to hear? So don't let someone steamroll you into agreeing if you don't. You have a chance to fight for something that matters. This includes if you have any sort of legal issues that you want to bring to a court. The King of Swords can be a lawyer, or, again, fighting for something legal. And the Strength card shows a very good chance that you can get what you want. Okay? One thing, and I'll pull the traditional card while we're talking, to think about with the Strength card is if there's someone in your life and you're able to kind of like win them over, or there's a difficult challenge in front of you and you succeed, all of which are, you know, things that we can assume with the Strength card. You want to ask yourself, in the long run, do I want to continue to put this much time, this much energy and effort into it? Because Strength often carries with it a little bit of diminishing returns. And so what you can do easily today and tomorrow, maybe a week or a year from now, it may be a lot. So here we see someone, like I said, taming the lion, but it's a lot. It takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of attention. The Strength card can also be someone around you that is challenging you. Again, you're on the level, because all of these cards here are power cards. The King of Swords, Strength, and the Emperor. Like, you've got this if you want this. Even the Moon card, they're all power. So all you have to do is make choices that are wise. The Two of Pentacles, if you're trying to please all of these people, it gets tricky. These are a lot of cooks in the kitchen. So you've got to decide what matters to you, who you really want to align with, and where you're headed, okay? And the planning is going to help you with all of that. All right, in the near future, you have Emperor energy coming forth, representing a wonderful moment in time for you to take ownership of something, to take the reins, to exercise your independence. So if you've been waiting, this card is saying now's the time to do that. I mentioned earlier that there could be a lot of challenges around your decision making. We see a lot of cooks, a lot of bosses, a lot of people weighing in. This is you, though, and this is the near future, and this is right now since we're tuning in the middle of the month. Stand behind what matters most for you. Fight for it. The Emperor has an amazing chance to get what they ask for. But people read the energy of the Emperor based on their confidence and the delivery, like I said. You have to believe what you're doing, what you're saying, and if you do that, then it all comes together in the Emperor. If you don't, people are going to sniff it out and say, I don't know about that. And that's what the Moon card is in the past. It's all starting to make sense. So in the past, historically, you may have kind of gotten roped into things that didn't make sense or you didn't feel passionate about. Really make sure that it resonates on a heart level. Ultimately, the Emperor card also has a connection here to this Two of Pentacles. So again, with the three phases of life being here in this card, some of you are looking at the long distance. Emperor usually has gray hair. I think he has salt and pepper in this one. When we look at his beard, you can kind of see he's been around the block a few times. So some of you might just be at a point where you're planning for the future. So let's say you're a student or you're younger, you're looking at long-term options. If you want to start a family, when you want to retire, what you hope to do with your with your money and with your time, and that's fantastic. If you're midlife or more in the retired portion of your life, you're really trying to maximize the time that you have now and the time that remains, which none of us know. So this is making choices based on longevity, legacy, and what matters to you. One thing that we all learn at some point is that this life, it's finite. There's going to be limits on it. So you don't have to waste time worrying about if somebody's gossiping about you, if you're making everyone happy, if you're popular. All of these things are fleeting. The things that matter are, do you feel a sense of fulfillment? Are you making an impact? And is this something when you're older and grayer that you're going to feel proud about? Let those things help you weigh out the Two of Pentacles decision that came through at the center, and that will help you with the energy of discernment. There could also be some opportunities to heal or deal with parental figures in your life, divine masculine in particular, so be aware of that. All right, let's take a look at you, one of the first reverse cards that we have. We have the Sun in reverse, and this is very interesting. I just mentioned this. So parents, aunts and uncles, sometimes even siblings, despite your age, they're always going to see you as younger. Usually there's a little baby on this card, and I'll pull that in a second, but the Sun in reverse is like, I need to be able to break free and break out. And this is one of the first breakthrough messages. So age is just a number. And there comes a point where you have to sort of like lean into and own who you are, irrespective of whatever level of support you might be getting from others. So here's a little baby on the card. It's maybe one of two cards that has children on it for sure. Six of Cups also has children. But when this card is reversed, it can be a stunted phase. I feel like I'm stuck in that part of my life, or I feel like there's a wound from that part of my life that's sticking around and I need to heal it. There could also be a project that you're holding on to, or a decision that you're sitting with too long, and it's like a baby that's past due. It's time to be birthed. So we're going to take a deep breath and say, I can do this. I'm going to come out and I'm going to allow this next version of me to be released. Okay? Solar plexus energy might be something that you need to focus on, whether it's manifesting in the stomach or you're feeling like butterflies or nerves. Sometimes that can come through, and again, it's more of a self-confidence thing, but just highlighting some areas in the body where the energy might be sort of stagnating. Okay, so in the environment, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and if you look on this card, you'll see like a little fawn, a fox, a hare, various animals, plus some little fairies helping out as well, and an owl in the background. So this is normally a card connected with learning, putting things into production. It's also resource oriented. So here's your traditional one. Here's the reimagined one. You don't have to do this as a solo act. So this one is very much lost in your own sort of creative flow. There's a time and place for this. If you set your mind to anything right now, the traditional Eight of Pentacles tells you that you'll get a return on the energetic investment. It's a great time to learn. It's a great time to pay attention to details. And this is something where you look up and it's like, oh my gosh, three weeks passed and I look at how much I've gotten done. This card is saying take a moment to check in with the people around you, represented by all the animals here, because those frequent check-ins can make sure that you don't make any errors and that there really won't be much need for editing or review if you kind of build them in. So just do some check-ins with people around you. So this is especially important for those of you that are students or have a job or are producing a product, because you want to make sure that your eyes don't get blind to one of the errors in the document or the product or service. Again, a great time to go to school, a great time to learn. If you wanted to create a curriculum or an sort of a technical document or instructional document, people are very keen on learning from you. Seminars, teaching sessions, public speaking, particularly since we had King of Swords. All of these are perfectly aligned with the energy in front of us. To that end, we have an opportunity knocking here in Hope Spheres and Opportunities. I love that this looks like the sword Excalibur, and I wanted to just compare to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. So we have a hand holding, possibly grabbing that sword. This is passive. So in this moment in time, Spirit is inviting you to, and we also even see the snow around it. Something has been sitting there, an idea. It's time to take the sword and feel the ownership. I'm the one. I can do this. I am ready. I am. Use that. It's a powerful combination of two words, you, and you're in the energy of doing. So you can't get more active than that. So I am, and then whatever it is that you're trying to create, just put it there and don't add any other words. So instead of I am seeking abundance, I am abundance. Instead of you're looking for love, say I am love. Because that is going to put you one step closer. You're not looking for something to fill the gap. You're saying, I resonate with the energy of that which I seek, and now I want to embark on this, okay? Put it, like if you need to get something signed, this is a perfect time to put pen to paper. If you need to have a face-to-face conversation, now's the time to do it. And if you've been dragging your feet, Spirit is gently putting on your shoes and tying your shoelaces and saying, get outside and get moving. So there's an opportunity, but action is necessary. We have the King of Swords and we have the Ace of Swords. Let's bring the two together. In the outcome, we have the Three of Cups, which is a very playful, fun, social card. So this card is reversed, which can represent for some of you a shyness or reluctance to kind of get out there and mix and mingle. And I totally respect all of the hermits out there, all of the people that just want to spend some time alone, or like if you have a pet like me, maybe your idea of fun is just curling up with your dog and watching something on TV. This card is saying, okay, but make sure that you're making time to connect with friends, with colleagues, with neighbors, get involved occasionally with extracurricular or volunteer type work, because you might meet somebody new. Whether or not you're looking for love, you might find a great friend or a great ally or someone that could connect you to something. That's what I love about this one, because we see all of the little ribbons attached to the birch tree. So it's not so much that you're meeting the one, you're meeting someone who's going to connect you to something bigger. If we look at the traditional card, you can see just how close these three people are. And the reversal of this can show that it could be a clique where people are not inclusive. So if you see something like this in a place that you're working, or maybe even in a friend group, you can counter it just by being inclusive. Reach across the aisle and say, hey, how are you doing? Welcome. There might be someone new that isn't getting that feeling of inclusivity. This could be you too. If nobody wants to connect with you, I often see these sort of rejections or blocks as the universe having my back. And usually there's a better person to connect with than this group, because you really don't want to be a part of energy where people are resistant to new faces, new ideas, etc. So avoid cliques, be inclusive, and also avoid gossip. So this can represent someone sharing a rumor or an idea without any sort of basis, and take it all with a grain of salt. And don't get involved with the gossip, especially if someone is saying something untoward about someone else. Just say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable with this, and disconnect, because invariably that Three of Cups reverse energy has a way of getting back to the person that's being talked about, and you don't want to be a part of that. Okay, so just a small warning and an otherwise really great spread. And I think for most of you, that Three of Cups reversed is just about coming out of your shell. Okay, let's go ahead and move on now to the expanded portion of this forecast, where we go a little bit deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And are there two? Nope, there's just one card here. So it says, I am protected by Source. Super important to make time to ground yourself. And you notice at the beginning of every reading that I do here, I try my best to pull in a little bit of meditation and say, all right, close your eyes, clear your mind, put your feet on the ground, create a circle of light around. I just gave you all the tools you need to step into the day. What did it take in the video? It was like, I don't know, 10 seconds. You can take 10 to 15 seconds to clear your mind, ground yourself, and put light and positive energy around yourself. Meditate. And then I am protected by Source. This is a reminder that you have the power to do whatever you need to do in your life. It's great to have the support of friends, family, and loved ones, but sometimes we have to be our own battery. And this month, making time to meditate will help you plug into Source energy, okay? And that's pretty much everything. So let's go ahead and see what else is coming through from a health perspective. First, I want to talk about the moon. The moon can represent pregnancy, especially since we have the ace here, Ace of Swords. So if you've had challenges in the past, this time around it's looking much more favorable. If it's been a minute since you've worked with a urologist or an OBGYN, this can also have to do with reproductive systems, so obviously you want to take care of that. Otherwise, it's hydration. So make sure that you're drinking enough water and that you're not overdoing things like caffeine or alcohol that often have a way of stripping us of our natural hydration, okay? Again, going back to that Two of Pentacles and maybe even just showing the traditional card for a moment, work-life balance is important. General balance, like inner ear issues. If you've had a cold or if you're just not feeling well, obviously get that checked out. But typically this is just about taking care of yourself and not overcommitting, because it can have an effect on your general vitality and energy. Most of your cards are in the upright position, which is good. We do have the Sun card in the reverse position, which can be solar plexus energy. Difficulties with digesting food, nerves that are kind of affecting your stomach area as well. Maybe even something going on in the stomach like a flu. Obviously get that checked out. And if there is pregnancy, it could veer on the side of either being overdue or premature, so you want to take special care of yourself so that your body is perfectly able to regulate itself, because stress can have an influence on that. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, the Three of Cups in reverse. Moderation is your friend. So much like I was saying, if you drink too much alcohol or too much caffeine, dehydration could come through. You could end up getting sicker than you normally do. We don't want a hangover. We don't want any sort of alcohol poisoning or anything like that. So obviously, take care of yourself. And other than that, it looks pretty good, actually. One last thing, if you want to work on physical fitness, now is a good time. For the strength card to show up, it usually is an indication of being able to put on more muscle or to kind of just get more in your body and feeling stronger and more capable. So whatever kind of workout routine you want to do, that is showing some receptivity there. All right, we have two cards coming through for the energy of wealth. So why don't we take a look at it? The first of the two is a mouse. The second is a frog. They both came through reversed. Whenever I see mice in a financial reading, it's important to look at the details. Why? Mice slip through the cracks. Literally, they can kind of get underneath the door or, through a small hole in the wall. So sometimes in our finances, if there's a mouse that shows up as a totem, we might be missing a loophole. Maybe there's a bill that's not been paid. Maybe there's an opportunity for a deduction or for some sort of efficiency that's just not being looked at. So get an expert to look at it, okay? If I were to find one positive thing with the mouse, it's that it's resourceful. So if you need to pinch a penny, make something work, the mouse is showing you can do just that. Underneath it, we had the frog, also reversed. Some of you might have taken a few steps forward and one step back, but the frog reminds you that once you address whatever it is that you need to address, you can make one big leap and you're going to be okay. Don't focus so much on a perceived setback. Do what's right, do what's necessary, make up for lost time later. All right, let's break this down into a few different categories. We're going to start off with those of you that are currently employed. If you have a job, actually things are looking pretty good. The only thing that's challenging for some of you is the level of, this could be top heavy. Some of you might be in an organization where there's a lot of bosses, or the management kind of has split decision-making over a lot of different people. So navigating that can be challenging. But with King of Swords, Strength, and Emperor as aspects of you this month, you have a great fighting chance. And you have a great idea. So speak up, speak often, let people know what you have on your mind. The only thing to be mindful of really in present employment situations is, I mentioned it earlier, gossip or clicks. Those things aren't going to help in the long run, obviously. Eight of Pentacles in the environment. If there's something that you want to do, get this in writing. This is about hammering out the details. You can literally see the person with the chisel. And also make sure that credit is given. Give credit where credit is due. Make sure you get it as well. So otherwise, a great month to get things done. Communicate, avoid the clicks, and navigate this interesting hierarchy that's being shown here. Two of Pentacles showing not enough resources. Ask for help if you need to make a case. I think you can get it, especially since the Two of Wands is touching these two decision makers, or is showing that there is strength in your communication. Okay, good month for those that are employed. If you are an entrepreneur, this is a time to really step forward. The shyness that I mentioned here is something that you want to release a little bit here. Make sure that people can get in touch with you easier. Is there an easy way to contact you on social media, on your telephone, 1-800 number, all of that. Also, just really making sure that in this moment you seize the energy that's around you. It looks like there's a lot of momentum. What's lacking though? Resources. Either you're under-resourced, let's say like not enough people to do the work, or the price point is off. Because the Two of Pentacles is, or there has to be something that's trimmed from the current lineup of products and services. Take this planning exercise and look at least 2 quarters or 2 years to figure out how you're going to navigate this. But you can do this. The Eight of Pentacles in the environment shows that there are resources available. It might require a loan. Maybe you're going to work with or take on a partnership. This could be a partner of 2 or 3 people. Some of them could be silent. Probably 3 max because we have the Three of Cups. In this situation, set up the clear hierarchy of who is the main boss, who's answering to whom, etc. And no handshakes. Get everything in writing. Really clearly define things. Other things that you could be focusing on right now is not sort of holding on to something longer than you need to. If there's something that is, for most intents and purposes, done, then send that out into production and focus on the next thing. Okay? A pretty good period for you right now, Pisces, I have to say. The only challenge is overcommitting, or maybe trying to do the work of multiple people because you don't have the finances at present to expand your team. Moving on to those that are job seeking. So what I like about this spread is all of the different people coming through. This is a great time to get out there and to be seen. But, I mentioned the Sun card and sometimes people looking at you and not seeing you for your full worth. One of the challenges could be in age discrimination. So the Emperor and the Sun are at opposite ends of the spectrum. And age discrimination can hit in 2 ways. Sometimes you're young and experienced and people want an older person. One of my first and most favorite jobs, I hit that kind of experience. Literally, the boss at the time told me, we would give you this position if you had like 3 to 5 more years experience, even though you could already do it. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. The company ended up going out of business. It doesn't matter. But all of that being said, it's not just about sometimes people aging out. Sometimes there's younger people that aren't given the opportunity. So anywhere along the line, challenge that mentality and, keep in touch because sometimes people can change their mind. So that's one thing that I'm picking up on there. I see at least one option coming through with the Ace of Swords. It looks pretty good, actually. So I would, if something gets put on the table, go for it. The Three of Cups in reverse could mean that there's a little bit more in the realm of communication that you have to do, more interfacing with clients or coworkers or some management. If that's not something you're comfortable with, I do feel like you could grow into it, but that's the only sort of hiccup that I'm seeing. Lean into the network. These are movers and shakers. If you don't know them yet, get out there and network, get involved with professional organizations, talk to your friends and family. There might be someone that knows someone. All right, students. It's a really solid month for students. I think that the only thing that could get in the way is too much partying, over socializing, or for some of you, there could just be some emotional fears that are coming through that you can work with a counselor to sort of overcome. The Sun in reverse is also, the word perfectionist comes to mind. It's like you really want to make sure everything is, chef's kiss, but the Eight of Pentacles is telling you that there comes a point sometimes when you have a lot. You just got to kind of like move it down the production line. So make sure that your schedule is balanced. I think for everybody this month, balance is key. You could just be pulling yourself in too many different directions. Okay, retirees. Speaking of balance, many of you are maybe looking for a little bit more fun, more peers, maybe even some younger people in your life to kind of like change up the energy because we need diversity in our friend group. It can't, like all the same age is sometimes boring. So I like that we have different phases and stages of life here. And this can be achieved through getting involved in volunteer work, organizations, maybe a part-time job. If you are looking for something, you can bring it in, but nothing that ties you up too much. Really giving yourself freedom to socialize. I'm not getting anything with traveling. It really looks like it's more connected to focusing on some core relationships, okay? Speaking of relationships, this is a great segue to look at love. And let's see what your oracle card was here. All right, the message on this card is caching. And when I'm looking at this, it's really because of that Two of Pentacles. Some of you are trying to figure out how to allocate enough time for love, for the friendships, for the core relationships that you care about. And you have to be picky and choosy and discerning. And with this card in the reverse position, some of you are just feeling like that Two of Pentacles at the center, like it's hard to make it all work. And for some of you, it's a complicated structure. This could be mixed families, blended families, like where there is, perhaps a divorced partner and you raise a child together. This, for some of you, could be an open relationship. You might be dating a few people at once. We'll get into all of that. So let's start off with those of you that are partnered. The most important thing in partnerships right now is clear and open communication. And thankfully, we have two cards connected to that. When we're looking at the key challenge, we see the three people, we see the three cups. This, by the way, the Emperor can be an older parent. Some of you are sharing your homes with an extended family, maybe because you want to help take care of them, which is a wonderful thing. That also creates some challenges when there's different generations. Because who's the mother? Who's the child? And this is difficult when there's a grandchild in the picture and the grandparent might sometimes be stepping in to help, sometimes questioning the parents' sort of job. So if you are in a blended situation like that, where there's multi-generational energy, and we kind of see it here, because this can be the two partners and this can be the parent, and they're pictured here and they're pictured here. It's so important then to have boundaries and let your parent or this other relative or other party involved know where the line is. And if they are helping, sometimes there's feelings of like jealousy or inadequacy or frustration. It's like, I want to do that and they're doing it, but I'm really happy that they're doing it. And there's all these multiple levels, and it's beyond me as a tarot reader to help you with that. So I would say talk to a counselor, and I feel like it's super normal to have those sorts of emotions. I'm just picking up on it as I'm looking at this. So navigating complex relationships where there's more than one person living in the same house. For those of you that are in like a throuple, that's always challenging because you're going to have to juggle a lot of different people and schedules in this. And that's really what it is: resources, schedules, and boundaries. So again, beyond what I'm here to do, I'm just showing that this can be the challenge. For everyone else, if you're in a more traditional relationship, there could also be friends that are weighing in. And for those of you that have been dating for a while, you know that one of the tests to sort of like a relationship is like, okay, let's meet the friends or let's meet the family. And that's what we're seeing here, is meeting that core group that matters so much. Be there for your partner and make sure that your friend group or your family group doesn't give them a hard time. We don't want any hazing of the new partner. So that's the last thing that I'm picking up on, but ultimately pretty good. For those that are already married in a long-term relationship, we could have a baby coming through. So this is a baby, this is pregnancy, this is also indicative of pregnancy. And if you've had challenges, I don't see them coming through this month. So be careful if you're not trying to get pregnant. There is room for multiple births too, so twins or triplets. So we want to be careful if you're not looking for that. Just putting it out there, all right? Let's move on. I would say the key thing here is also just talk about money right now. Money and planning, particularly if you're going to expand the family. If you're single and looking, there are multiple options. You're showing up here in the deep past, which is good. Knowing who you are, knowing what you want. It also looks like some of you have been working on manifesting. I mentioned multiple partner options. Some of you might already have found that there are a couple of people that you're interested in. Don't leave them hanging. Like literally make a choice as soon as you know, so that you don't feel confused or conflicted or pulled in too many directions. Who's coming in? We have an air sign here that you might have already met. I'm not getting anything negative about this, actually. They're looking for more, it looks like. So if you're interested in moving forward, great. We have a Leo here also. One interesting dynamic that I'm picking up on in potential partners is an age gap, because the Emperor and the Sun definitely shows up to 10 years sometimes of an age gap. There could also be a child or children attached, or a desire to want to have or start a family sooner than later. But yeah, I actually equally like the air sign and the Leo. One thing that I would say here is it feels like the Leo is the one that's a little bit older and wiser based on the progression of the cards. So if that's what you're interested in, they look like they're serious and they're ready to take it to the next level. So this is a month where you can meet people if you're looking, for sure, okay? Moving onward to those that are single and happy, good for you. What I'm seeing with single and happy is an increased focus on health. Some of you are working really hard right now, and possibly going to school or doing an important project or activity that has the capacity to go the distance with the Sun and the Ace of Swords. And the Sun card really shows that your charisma is loud and clear coming through. You just want to make sure that you don't second guess yourself and go for it. This is a great time for you, okay? Get out there and mix and mingle, though. I mentioned even in the world of business that you can make a connection here that could really help you open up a door that wouldn't be there otherwise. So it's definitely a time to mix and mingle. Okay, now let's take a look at your destiny card. We have an archangel coming through, Seraphiel, Heart of Devotion. It says, let the cup of your heart be filled through commitment and dedication. So many of you are getting ready to lean a little bit more into that, but the card was reversed. So there is this sort of protective field around your heart where you're wondering, can I be loved? Will this be okay? Am I all right? And based on what I'm seeing here, the answer invariably to that is yes. There are so many options that are coming through for new friendships, new alliances, and new love. I would highly encourage you to give it a shot, okay? Now, let's take a look at your final question, final card. This can be anything that you have still on your mind that you need some advice on. Go ahead and formulate that, and I'm going to shuffle the cards. All right, we have a great card coming through here, the Hermit. If you asked a yes or no, it's a yes. We have the light in the dark, great ideas, great insight, great intuition. Just trust yourself. One of the things that's kind of interesting with this is Three of Cups is very social. The Hermit is very private. It feels like one of the necessary steps is to allow yourself to be seen a little bit more. Same thing with the Sun. The Sun is conspicuous just like the star. It shines, it's bright, it's the center of attention. The Hermit tends to stand in the background. So navigating maybe some internal shyness or maybe reluctance to step into the spotlight could be one of the challenges in front of you, but otherwise this is great. The Hermit is also connected to education, so if there's something that you want to learn or something that you want to teach, this is also an optimal time to do all of the aforementioned. That, my friends, is everything. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you and for being patient. It's been a challenging month, so I appreciate the extra time. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like it, and then leave a comment. Let me know what resonated most. You can also show some love and support through either PayPal, or you can also give back with a super sticker and super chat right here on YouTube. And if you'd like to join me on social media, my name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, is my handle on just about every platform. And you can get all the official links to everything on my website or go to the YouTube channel profile for my channel, and all the links are there. There's like 13 links, and they're all listed. All right, little Apollo is sleeping, but let's give him one last pat on the head, and then we'll wrap up. All right, from my heart to yours, wishing you a fantastic month ahead. I'll see you again next month. And in the meantime, check out daily and weekly videos. I do the weekly as a live stream every Sunday at 9:15 a.m. Pacific. So I hope to see you then. Take care.